Here we go then. By the end of the weekend, the 8 teams left in this season's Heineken Cup will be reduced to 4. The competition, as always, will reach a noisy crescendo. We're in for quite a ride. We start here at Stradey Park with the Scarlets against the Holders Munster. Match commentary this evening comes from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Good evening, everybody, and to be honest, if you were at work or school today, whatever you found yourself doing, how many times did your mind wander to thoughts of this game? It is almost the perfect European Cup quarter-final. Every element you could wish for.
Yeah, two of the great traditional rugby regions clash. Llanelli Scarlets, the team every neutral wanted to watch in the pool stages, facing the champions, Munster, the team every other side wants to beat. Will that European crown inspire tonight, or will the free-flowing Scarlets dethrone them here at Stradey Park?
So the teams for this, the first Heineken Cup quarter-final of what should be a thrilling weekend. Iestyn Thomas is at 1 for the Scarlets. New Zealander Deacon Manu wears 3. And the current Welsh hooker, Matthew Rees, completes the front row. There were big selection headaches in the second row, apparently. In the end, Phil Davies has gone for Vernon Cooper and Scott MacLeod. The back row and the insider, Irish international, the Scarlets captain, Simon Easterby. Gavin Thomas is open side. Alex Popham, also in great form, is number 8. The international pairing of Dwayne Peel and Stephen Jones are back together at half-back. And Jones' first game back after his wrist fracture. Gavin Evans and Regan King, a highly effective centre pairing there. David James and Mark Jones, high-class wingers too. Jones coming through a fitness test this week. And Barry Davis is fullback. Morgan Stoddart unluckily misses out. But when coaches are spoilt for choice, you know that we have arrived at what people these days seem to call the business end. Well, looking to get down to business tonight, the Munster pack, and it's the familiar front row. Marcus Horan, John Hayes for his 70th European Cup appearance, and fit again, Jerry Flannery at hooker. Of course, there's no Paul O'Connell, but Mick O'Driscoll, injured against Italy in the Six Nations, is back to play alongside Donnacha O'Callaghan. Alan Quinlan is back from suspension and joins David Wallace, one of the players of the season. And Dennis Leamy is in the back row with them. Against Peel and Jones, it's Peter Stringer and Munster captain this evening, Ronan O'Gara. Enough said. Trevor Halstead missed the Leicester defeat. He's back now with Leamy Mafi at centre. Ian Dowling, John Kelly are out wide. Kelly was a doubt up until a few days ago, but he's come through. And aside from O'Connell, Munster's other major absentee is fullback Sean Payne. So Christian Cullen gets his big game chance to show that the old sparkle, of which there was plenty, is still there. The key bench story tonight relates to Munster and their ex-captain Anthony Foley, who does make it and therefore could become the first man to appear in 80 games in this tournament. So over the last few days, the tickets have been changing hands for ridiculous money. The sold-out signs in evidence weeks ago. The kind of game that during the quieter moments in the hotels during the Six Nations, these players would have been thinking about, running through situations in their mind, anticipating the occasion that we now have.
For absolute months, and for Munster now waiting to come out. This is when it gets serious. They lost to Leicester in the last round of the pool stages, but they had a safety net. They were in the unusual position of having already qualified. Today, away to Llanelli Scarlets, they know there is no safety net. If they lose today, the European champions are dethroned. And no team thrives on fear of failure like Munster.
Munster, the champions, but not the unbeaten side here tonight. Yet that Leicester defeat at Thomond will probably have made this team even more determined, if that is possible, to retain the trophy. Ronan O'Gara leading this side out, trusted with the leadership. His aim is to hand it back to Paul O'Connell for yet another Heineken Cup semi-final.
It's a natural evolution, really, for Ronan O'Gara, isn't it? I mean, he has been tactically so supreme for Ireland this season. A man with ice running in his veins. His battle with Stephen Jones, the headliner in what is going to be a night of headline events.
Peter Stringer, man of the match in last year's victorious final in Cardiff for Munster. As Munster huddle, the Scarlets wait. And they will emerge being led by Simon Easterby, the Irish international. And he said this week exactly what he expects his players to deliver this season. The skipper and the squad want more than brave respectability.
Thank you.
They have ambitions to go all the way this season, and why not? 6 from 6 in a very difficult pool. 3 away try bonus points. And tremendous atmosphere and feeling in that dressing room. Here comes Easterby. And their reward, if you can call it that, is to meet the champions tonight from doing so well in their pool. But they have earned the right to play at home, and on nights like this, what a home.
Scarlets have played some absolutely magnificent rugby on the road in the pool stages, possibly better than here at Stradey. But Easterby, Jones, Peel, they know that tonight they have to find their best form. Munster have not been 100%, but they will not go gently without a fight tonight. Can the Scarlet back row keep the ball alive? Can they give Dwayne Peel the front foot? If they do that, the Scarlets have the backs to win it. But it's one hell of a big if. What a battle ahead of us.
Just soak in that atmosphere. Really is wonderful. Colourful too. Stephen Jones came through training this week. Chris White, his 4th Heineken Cup quarter-final. This competition, year after year, gives us rugby highs that live long in the memory. But I can't remember a more appetising quarter-final lineup than the one laid before us this weekend.
Yeah, I can now.
And what a starter we have. The crowd squeezed into Stradey Park.
Miles, I used to come here as a kid to watch rugby. I played against Llanelli for teams like Bath and Bristol, but never have I come to a game so excited at Stradey as I am just watching this game. Everybody is at fever pitch here.
Chris White is just holding the kick-off, and I think it's because of all the ticker tape and confetti which is on the pitch just down in front of the tunnel, which greeted the players. Not happy about that, the referee, and the touch judge Peter Huckle is hovering around the pieces of paper. But I think for everybody's sake, we need to get on with this.
Okay, we're ready to go, okay?
There's a strong wind, it'll blow away. As Chris White awaits to blow the first whistle. Well, he's not happy, he's coming over to this side.
It is just going to ratchet up the tension even more.
If you're happy, we're happy, but Munster said they're not playing with all that confetti on the pitch.
Right, can we just clear the line, please?
They're saying it's Munster saying we don't want to play with the confetti on the pitch.
There is an issue, the way it covers the lines, you know, there's sympathy there for the players and the officials, and Peter Huckle is now just sweeping that away off that 22-metre line. You know, we have it at games these days, don't we? Confetti, we get smoke from the fireworks, which obscures the view early on. You'd think the crowd themselves would generate enough atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they certainly have tonight.
We certainly don't need the pyrotechnics you so often see As you say, 10,800 people packed here. Just listen to the noise.
Scarlets kick us off. There's a good chase from the Scarlets as well. MacLeod was leading it. Stringer. O'Gara, the old combination, as solid as a rock with the first play.
Please.
As Alex Popham's just taken a knock there, but it was 8-9-10, wasn't it? Because Dennis Leamy took that ball over his head from the kickoff really well there, surged infield, and as you say, Stringer, O'Gara have been there so many times for Ireland, but more importantly perhaps for Munster, and they just know that in the first 20 minutes they must settle this game. They mustn't let the Scarlets come out of the blocks quickly. 3 men taken out by Leamy. Stringer doesn't even look, he knows where his 10 is. Get it off the park. I think in the first half the wind seems to be with the Scarlets, so for Munster it is a holding operation. For the Scarlets, they're going to want some points.
Simon Easterby, who was injured in the opening attempted attack there from the Scarlets, but they'll be relieved to see their captain back on his feet. Just had a little stretch of the neck. Chris White steps in with this first line out, and he needs to sort out a bit of a jumble there. And Donacrow Callaghan, a lot on his shoulders tonight. Plenty of experience now. He's no longer the junior man. He's right up there with the very best in the world. But of course, no Paul O'Connell alongside. Mick O'Driscoll will try and help out. He'll be helped out there by the throw of Rees, which went straight to him. And you could see it caught the wind a little bit as well, which is blowing into the Munster faces in this first half. O'Gara gets it into midfield to Mafi, his first run, and he's a powerful man. Stringer again, that flat pass, but the Scarlets were waiting right on that gain line. Cooper was one of them. These to be the other, but it's a penalty. Quick tap, off go Munster. Little floater ball onto Quinlan, but it's gone forward.
Well, that's a very good minute or so for Munster there, playing into the wind. First of all, Matthew Rees, an important player for the Scarlets, had a nervous start with a bad line-out. And then, because it's a free kick into the wind, Stringer goes and Halstead, first touch. It's a forward pass there, so it's a judge. But immediately he's drawing 2 Scarlets defenders there. Key man who was missing in the defeat against Leicester.
And Quinlan had support from Wallace. And those two can shift. So a shame for Munster that was a forward pass. It was an opportunity. Not too much to choose there between the
that's good.
2 packs in terms of their weight. Jones into Regan King, who's gliding. He's looking, but Evans just can't locate him. Gavin Thomas drives in. Jones gets in there to help out. He started it all off. Peel's having a go. Scarlets looking to switch it this way. Referee Chris White is holding out an arm there, but still we play on with Jones and James, but nothing happening for the Scarlets. It is a penalty.
Plenty happening in midfield though. Regan King, first touch, and as you say, he just glides past the Munster defence there. Nothing too flash there, but you can see Halstead's up very quickly. Lefemi Mafi doesn't come, and there's a little bit of a dogleg, and if you dogleg, then Regan King will go through. You just watch this. Halstead's up quickly. Look at Mafi there. That's really poor organisation there.
King, just the 1 cap for New Zealand, came against Wales, scored a try in that match. It seems a waste internationally, and the point made by Will Greenwood in the studio just a few minutes ago. Maybe Graham Henry and all his Welsh connections might want to take a look at Regan King in World Cup year. But this about the Heineken Cup tonight. And Stephen Jones. I never liked it. Looked anxious from the moment that it left the boot.
Big night. Even the most experienced players suffering from nerves there. That was not a good kick, and the Scarlets really will want to rack up the points when they get the opportunities, be they tries or penalties, and Jones will be very disappointed, as will his teammates there.
Both sides coming into this match on the back of a good win. Scarlets against the Dragons, impressive, 35-11. Munster won at Ravenhill. This is Popham. And Then Popham provides his weight with the carry, and that is very useful weight as well. Oh, what a carry it is. Manu flies in. Eventually it comes to the floor, but that's a good game for the Scarlets. Gavin Thomas acts as scrum half, Peel as the fly half. Bit of a slice on the kick, but it's fallen for Davies. James has scored again in the competition that he loves. And Stradey knows what that score could mean. It set Scarlets on their way.
Davies James yet again is the man who scores. But what vision from Dwayne Peel, a flat kick, but the power of the Scarlet surge. This surge here, Gavin Evans and Popham driving Munster back. That's a point of Munster strength, but that drive is just like a turbo power. Manu comes in with a hit, and then Dwayne Peel, all the time in the world, flat kick, and then James, outside break, strong on the inside shoulder, ball under the right arm. That's the finish of a man who knows how to score more tries in the Heineken Cup than anyone.
And Stephen Jones gets an immediate chance to atone for the missed penalty goal, and he's got the conversion. Well, if you're going to miss 3 points, that's the way to compensate for it. Try for James, his 28th in this competition, the leading scorer, and the dink from Peel was beautifully weighted, wasn't it? Miles, and there's no stopping the big James from there.
Miles, the change of pace that does Leamy is absolutely superb. Then he fends the ball into the right hand. That was absolutely superb.
O'Gara. How will the champions reply? I think we probably know.
Well, just talking about James's change of pace there. He catches this ball, Leamy's quick, check and go. The number 8 gets beaten there, and then look at the inside tackle. Christian Cullen, that is not what you need. Would Sean Payne have missed that tackle? I don't know. But Munster are 7-0 down now, and they have to fight back now. Rees has got to get his throw-in right.
He throws, it's palmed down, but it's loose ball. And still loose. Mark Jones tries to get in there as O'Callaghan went through.
No, 6, stay there. Stay there.
What a start.
Peel, Stephen Jones won't get long here. But from that angle and that position, that's a magnificent kick. It really is. There's a lot of skill out there.
Jones has wiped the slate clean after the error. That is the little change of pace. Cullen doesn't do well, but that's a forceful finish by the man who can't stop scoring in this tournament. The Scarlets needed to come out and get the early score. They've done it. They've lifted the crowd.
Flannery will throw. Nick O'Driscoll.
Yeah, that was a good line out.
Damaged his rib against Italy in the Six Nations, O'Driscoll, but he was tested this week and came through that. What a game that he would have wanted to miss.
We've seen this before, haven't we? Munster responding with a drive of this very efficient pack. They've got themselves a penalty.
They kept it tight and kept it strong. Now it's Stringer. Out to O'Gara. Little dink in behind. John Kelly tries to fall on it. I think he's knocked it on, therefore it's back for the penalty. Against Yeston Thomas.
Well, Munster not panicking there and deciding after conceding those early 7 points that they're going to tighten the game. They've played it in the corner, that's where they want to be. And now Ronan O'Gara can just steady the Munster ship here. A kick that, well, 9 times out of 10 this is meat and drink to Ronan O'Gara, but we've seen Stephen Jones miss a similarly comfortable one. A lot of pressure tonight and a huge amount of pressure on the 2-10s.
We mentioned that Davies James has got most tries in this competition. There's the man with most points. Ronan O'Gara tucked in behind Stephen Jones. O'Gara also the leading point scorer this season. But O'Gara starts as Jones did. Lots of pedigree, lots of experience, but even players with that kind of background feel the nerves on nights such as these.
Pedigree, yes, pressure also, and that's what we're seeing there.
Okay, when you're ready. Let's go, please.
And in this first 10 minutes, it's been a really significant little swing for the Scarlets. Had a chance, missed it, got a superbly taken try, and O'Gara, who normally swallows those kicks, misses one.
Stephen Jones looking for the hide of Davies James, and it's worked a treat. Popham was there, Matthew Rees was there, and suddenly the Scarlets are over halfway. That is superb execution again. Short to Manu. The tackle there by John Hayes, the two tight heads. Clash. Peel, little chip, took a deflection. It'll go towards Cullen, who wanted to sit down, it didn't. Stephen Jones has followed up, and he's taken it. Peel, chance to strike again. Popham, it's that man Davies James once more. Hayes has to make another tackle, but this time in a very defensive position. Little chip in behind. They're all chasing. Davies is one of them, and it's his opposite number, Cullen, who has plucked that out of the sky and saved Munster from conceding a second try.
And Munster are away, but it's all Scarlets at the moment. They're full of ideas and confidence.
It's all hair and scare 'em, isn't it? Here's Regan King. We use that word again, glide. That's exactly what he does over the ground. It's a joy to watch, but it's a good turnover for Munster. They've won that particular breakdown.
Davies James has any right wing started a game so well. Scores the try. Look at that. I mean, it looks nothing, but the chase is superb. And then Popham there. And this is what the Scarlets do. Keeping the ball up, offloading, and it's giving Munster's problem. You said harum-scarum, but the Scarlets would say it's controlled pace. And Munster have to take the pace out of this game or they're in trouble.
And it was terrific use of the height of James on Dowling. That's a clever ploy. Stringer. O'Gara, where's Halstead going? Well, through the middle without the ball. O'Gara rejected the pass, sensing there might have been an interception in the offing. O'Driscoll. Advantage here to Scarlets. Peel wants the penalty. He's told the referee. He's off and going straight away. Always testing Peel, but once he'd gone for that, there was a lot of responsibility that went with it as well, and it didn't quite work.
It didn't, but the intent is so strong there. Stephen Jones, in a way, earned that penalty. Tackle on his opposite number, and you can see there, for a fly half to be up there with the likes of Betson, Lieberman and his own mate, Simon Easterby, that's astonishing. He may not have had the most creative season so far, but nobody can doubt his application, but nobody.
And I think in that moment we just saw exactly how the Scarlets play. They could have gone for the long-range penalty. They could have bashed it in the corner for the line-out. No, it was the tap and go from Peel.
That's why they won 6 straight games in the toughest pool in this tournament, because they played at a pace that no one could live with. They're not going to change.
And that's why they got 3 bonus points for 4 tries or more on the road in that tough pool. Here's Barry Davies. Selected for his running lines, but also his big boot. That time he tries to show a little bit of finesse on that boot, but it falls for that Munster soldier John Kelly. Been around, seen it all, and never let Munster down. So too Stringer.
Oh, what a kick.
What a fantastic kick. Easterby thinks about it. A quick one. It doesn't happen.
That's a brilliant kick from Stringer. The game has been flowing against Munster, but this is why they're such a strong team, because they can just change that flow with a great decision-making. O'Gara's kick before wasn't so good, Stringer's was. And now, even though Paul O'Connell isn't there, the likes of Donncha O'Callaghan and Mick O'Driscoll must target the Welsh international. Quinlan there as well.
Rees throws long, and he's accurate in that throw as well to Vernon Cooper.
The pressure line out that.
Good recovery from Rees, who looked a little bit shaky with his first one, didn't he? Chip in behind again from Peel. He's asking all sorts of questions. He's varying his game. Munster have got a penalty here. Scarlets coming off their feet. And O'Gara, like Jones beforehand, will get a chance to make up for the miss.
And perhaps it would have been wiser for the Scarlets to boot the ball down there and take some territory, but it is the way they play the game, and, you know, isn't this interesting? Ronan O'Gara, obviously this wind has picked up there, and perhaps Munster 7-0 down. The gauntlet flung at their feet are going to pick it up and say, hey, don't ride us off. I think that's maybe that's about.
Fascinating move by Munster. There is a strong wind out there, and clearly it affected the opening kick from O'Gara. But this is a bold decision, and one that Munster will hope pays off. And it doesn't. Has that been reversed? Loss of discipline for the Scarlets.
Just signalling there, wasn't he?
Just signalling for help, yeah, from the sidelines.
Just
penalty stage with
listen for the whistle, please,
Stephen Jones to kick.
Big moment again there, you know. I know it's crazy saying big moment, 14, 15 minutes on the board only, but
listen for the whistle, please, gentlemen.
You know,
stop playing.
listening to our boys in the studio, to a man, everyone thought this was going to be quite tight. And if it is tight, when you get chances to kick penalties, you want to take them. O'Gara has missed one kick, and he's spurned the chance of another. Now they go for the corner. Scarlets get a penalty.
Scarlets have made two semi-finals famously before, agonisingly have come close to that final, but just not quite close enough. 4 lost quarter-finals, but a real feeling in this area that this could be the Scarlets' year, and why not, based on what happened in the pool.
That was the word Phil Davies used in his interview with Graham, momentum. They certainly had plenty of that coming out of the pool stages. I watched their game against the Dragons, where they played some superb rugby, and they've started this game not just with a 7-point try, but with a lot of confidence.
Dennis Leamy receiving treatment here. The heir to Anthony Foley. And now wearing the crown quite a lot, although Foley has come through his fitness test this week. There have been problems for both sides, but I have to say Munster have had more players on the edge. And Foley was one of them, but he's recovered sufficiently to be on the bench. Not required as yet, as Leamy stays on.
I'm just thinking about the quality of this game, Miles. Dennis Leamy, outstanding number 8. And if there was a Lions team now, it would be him and that man Popham fighting for that berth. And that applies to a number of positions here. This is a high-quality game.
Not straight at the line out.
Matthew Rees, that's two not straights already. I think windy day, he's got to fire that ball a little bit harder.
Stringer has played in all of the Munster quarter-finals. Finding there, the Munster scrum was under all kinds of pressure. That's not happened too often in Munster quarter-finals before.
One against the head there. I mean, there's about a chance for Mark Jones. I think he was shocked.
Chris White wants a word here for the late challenge on Stephen Jones. Flannery is checking that Jones is all right.
You make sure the attempt to tackle and you pull out quicker. Back we go, there. Mark, please, spreaders.
He's not going to take too many backward steps, Jerry Flannery. Stephen Jones gets the ball. The hooker comes in. Big left shoulder into him. He's saying to the fly half. Plenty coming there. But it's on the torso. It's not dangerous play, a stupid play, and it's given Stephen Jones and the Scarlets 30 metres, and Jones will say, do that all day if you want, mate, we'll just take it.
Penalty from where the ball landed. His wrist has been the problem. Not the upper torso, but that might be a little bit bruised now as well, as Jones does go for touch this time, and the Scarlets opt for the set piece. An intriguing and exciting start to this match. Exactly what we expected. Rees throws, doesn't hang around. Gavin Thomas was at the tail, this is Yeston Thomas.
More good ball at the tail.
Easterby looking, needs support. In goes MacLeod, scored that vital try on this ground against Toulouse. Made the difference in the end. Here's Stephen Jones. trying to carry the ball in two hands and then not releasing. It's a penalty to Munster. Mick O'Driscoll says, OK, we'll have the ball, and look at that, ref. They're denying us the chance to take the quick one.
Munster is so good one-on-one in those tackle situations. They got their defensive bodies over the ball. They isolate the likes of Stephen Jones, and net result, so often over the years, a chance for Ronan O'Gara to just poke the ball away.
Which he does. Let's go down to the front line, and it's David Flatman. Dave.
Thanks, Miles. We spoke about these scrums before the game. So far, John Hayes has stood up really well, but if you watch him slip his arm inside here, he knows something's wrong. That hooker has come right across. Matthew Rees has come right across with Iestyn Thomas and created effectively a 2-on-1.
There's Quinlan. It really was one for the Scarlets pack.
Great play from Halstead there, smashed over the gain line.
O'Gara gets it out. Mafi, he smashed as well. O'Driscoll not on the back foot for too long. That's a good carry from Mick O'Driscoll. Rescued that situation. Stringer. O'Gara into midfield. Mafi with a bruised ego. That's a good service off the floor. O'Gara sets it back. No holding on there, although he just grabs it back in again to make sure it does find a Munster hand. And those hands belong to Dennis Leamy. Stringer. O'Gara switching. Mark Jones will have to turn here. And the physio needs to be a bit nifty as well. And then he got him. But it's right into that corner.
Oh, that's vision. That is vision, that's calm, that's composure, that is everything Munster wanted from their fly half. You know, I think back to Ireland against France, and it got frenetic, and he went across the park. This time, it's not on. Turn, drill it into the corner. You couldn't have done better. Hunts the physio down, and again, Matthew Rees put under pressure. Great territorial chunk there.
Great composure from O'Gara. Leader tonight in the absence of O'Connell. And fully aware that Scarlets have been looking shaky on their line out. It's in and out. That's an in one in the basket. And a penalty as well. Munster have gone round offside.
Brave call going to the tail there. That's a good throw from Rees.
He came round.
Good sign, under a little bit of pressure early on, but he's not afraid to go for his throws. Stephen Jones just saying to Popham, get out of the way, stop talking to your mates, give me a clear line to clear this ball. It's feel, don't you, that the Scarlets perhaps would like 10-15 minutes or so in the Munster territory. There's quite a lot of territorial pressure here coming from Munster.
Thump of the ball there from Stephen Jones.
Hold in there, please. Munster, go.
Rees going to the front and Cooper.
Hold it, lads.
Peel. Mark Jones, if he gets hold of this, which he does, will at least set up a target. And if he gets off the floor and gets away, but running into his own man.
And that stopped the first tackle.
Dangerous, isn't he, Mark Jones?
Yeah, in tandem with Dwayne Peel again. High-class players. He read the chip well, and the execution is absolutely brilliant. Dead weight there. Jones makes a tackle, and then you can see he collides with Popham, and that's why Flannery can't make the tackle. It's accidental, and Chris White is spot on.
Well, that's come shooting out another Munster scrum. And Stringer does wonderfully well there to sweep up the problem. But it's an emerging problem here that Munster have to deal with, and quickly.
Yeah, a little shove there that just drove Easterby straight into Deacon Manu. But the Scarlets captain almost inadvertently head-batting his man there. A little shove there, and Stringer got one. I think Munster just want to try and disrupt the Scarlet rhythm, the self-belief.
And seeing the value of the halfbacks tonight, aren't we? The all-round display of Peel, Stringer there fighting back and saving his side. O'Gara with his clever tactical kicking, and Stephen Jones too, heavily involved. And Steele was saying, stars aplenty in this match. O'Gara again. Mafi again. He's broken down that channel, and Munster have another area of concern, don't they? Aside from the scrum, it's down that outside centre channel where Regan King has glided away. That's 3 times I've used the word. I'll think of another one. Mafi, with his tackling and communication, hasn't quite worked out as yet.
No, they were trying to put Cullen there on his favourite line, coming from out to in. And Mafi's just a little bit tense at the moment. Physically, he's been hit once or twice and his hands aren't that soft. He looks like an area that the Scarlets might just target.
Jones. Threat every time, King, isn't he?
Hands away, Munster, from the back.
And the man alongside him, young Gavin Evans. He's one to watch for the future.
It's another strong drive.
Peel, Jones. King feeds this time, out to Rees. He's a hooker, but he can move.
He's not going to go outside Wallace, though, is he?
He's an open side who can really shift. Manu. The New Zealand Maori doing a lot of strong work in the tight. Davies James, the try scorer. Only score of the night so far, converted by Stephen Jones. Barry Davies, no way through there.
It's a little bit lateral, Munster slowing it down, but Peel sees they've got numerical advantage one way.
King at standoff. Nearly getting through again. Threatening, time and time again. Picked up by MacLeod. Horan can't put a hand on him, Hayes can. A lot of tackles made by Hayes early on in this match. Jones, Evans, Popham. This is Mark Jones.
No release, Munster on the ground.
Popham. Peel and Davies combine. Then a hand comes in from Dowling, who'd left the left wing position. This advantage here to the Scarlets. Won't be now. Back for the scrum. Chris White just checking exactly where the knock-on was.
We'll see the threat of Regan King again. He's circled now, but what he does, he works really well in tandem with his mate Gavin Evans, who seems to be going out, but then he'll come very late and try and just plug into that hole that Munster leave. There, here he comes, and King just wants to pop that ball out of the tackle. That half unload could be so decisive.
Hang on, listen
Plenty of threats from King. Some worries for the Munster midfield.
Peel, blindside. In behind Dowling. Doesn't have to play it. But Ian Dowling is spending a lot of tonight worrying about that man. Just gone through the shot, Davies James. Dowling made his Munster debut last season. What a season to make your debut. He's getting a big test here tonight.
Well, he is. I mean, Davies James, the great thing about him against Dowling is his willingness to get his hands on the ball. And the Scarlets are using his height, his strength. They're really going for it here.
They're pulling in the line out, penalty Munster.
Inside arm was called at the beginning of the jump.
I really don't know why you come away with technical offences when Chris White's refereeing. He really doesn't miss very much at all. I think in terms of technical accuracy, he's probably the best referee on this planet. He just picks up everything. You're not going to get away with anything.
And the pace of the game these days, and these guys in the middle, they do an excellent job. The top guys, of which Chris White is one, need to be admired as well.
Huge fitness levels, because this game is going to be played, I suspect, at some pace and some intensity for 80 minutes. Certainly the Scarlets will just want to keep cranking and cranking the pace, because they'll back themselves to play at pace. And Munster have showed they're not afraid to put the ball through the hands here.
Dominic O'Callaghan returns to the line-out, having played ball boy. This is Leamy down at the tail. It's a good ball here for Munster. Wallace had stayed out in midfield, but he's been turned over. And Stephen Jones off the outside of the boot. Oh, that is not only cheeky, it is highly effective.
The collision one there. Once again, Munster trying to put their main runner, one of their main runners, David Wallace, through the hole. And he goes into contact with a man perceived as the Scarlets' weak defender, King. The ball just slips out, but the awareness there of Stephen Jones there, off the outside of the boot, knew that Munster on the tack, knew that one chip would just drive them back 30 metres.
And Quinlan there moving forward to shout the order to Flannery. Quinlan led the side for the first time, Munster skipper, against Ulster. Proud man to do so, and back in the Heineken Cup. And action in general after that 6-week ban. We'll see for his indiscretion against the Blues. That's O'Gara, and again, he's absolutely spot on with his kicking.
Well, his goal kicking has been poor for him. He's missed one, but his tactical kicking is excellent. He's taken large chunks of territory with his touch finders, and he's turning the Scarlets persistently, and that's given Munster at least a foothold in the game. They don't have points at the moment, but they'll feel they're well in this game now. Even if at the moment the Scarlets look a little bit sharper at contact and through the hands, Munster are banging this.
Scarlets have looked sharp, but they haven't got away. 7-0 against Munster is no lead. Good work from Easterby there. Peel's high hanging box kick, but he was outside of his 22, and Test Judge Peter Huckle has signalled to Chris White. The ball went out on the full.
Just about the first mistake Dwayne Peel has made in tandem with Stephen Jones. They've given some pretty good direction to the Scarlets. Very disappointed.
He's not even 26 yet, Dwayne Peel. All those caps, Lions test as well. And how great is he going to be? Here's Mafi, and then Kelly.
No holes at the moment in the Scarlets, but they've got a penalty, Munster.
String up. Referee still playing advantage. Quinlan. Cullen was waiting, never came to him. And the referee, after a fairly long advantage, but it was a penalty offence. I know you'll probably want to make your advantage point here, but referee, by the law book, goes back for the penalty.
I got no problem when you're going backwards, sideways and sideways for 30 seconds or so. It's when you get a cross-field kick and somebody has a chance to score a try, they blow it, and then they come back for a penalty kick at goal. That's called having your cake and eating it. I think White's absolutely right there. This is not a mega kick for Ronan O'Gara, but a fairly important kick.
And we're hearing from our staff down on the touchline that the wind direction is changing a little bit as well. It started off going downfield into the Munster faces, certainly down to the left-hand corner as we look here on that camera angle. Being told now it's coming more into our faces. We're at the back of the stand, we won't feel it here, but that's the message from down on the pitch, and O'Gara might have different elements to deal with here.
Yeah, that means he needs to aim this at the near post. If you think about the first one he missed, it faded from the right post. Started at the left. If the wind is strong, it'll bring it in. So that's going to go. That's missing because it's always going right.
And the wind took it there. So O'Gara misses again. It's hard out there, but these are important points. And the Scarlets, with Manu charging away, maintain their 7-point lead. Stephen Jones. Dowling turned again. James thundering after him. He's living on his shoulder, and Stephen Jones making sure that that pressure stays right on.
Well, it certainly relieves 15-20 minutes of Munster territory. That's a superb kick from Stephen Jones there. I must say his counterpart, Ronan O'Gara, didn't hit that ball at all, you know. There was no conviction in it. It was a poor strike.
Good win by O'Driscoll at the line out.
There's a bit of snap from O'Driscoll and O'Callaghan. But in the contact, I still feel the Scarlets have got a nudge for much of this game.
Another penalty, pulling it down. The attempt to. Driscoll there having a word with the referee. He led Munster here in the Magnus League, didn't he, in November? You know, you lose a leader like O'Connell, and O'Driscoll He's clearly a leader of men as well. Comes into the side. Spoilt for choice, but that's what you'd expect when you get down to the quarter-final stage of this competition.
And no team has experience like Munster in this tournament. O'Gara, of course, the Heineken Cup ball, slightly different variant to others use, and sometimes goal kickers have complained in the past about difficulty striking it. It's an alien beast, and O'Gara doesn't seem comfortable with it at the moment.
Flannery. Stringer. O'Gara. Here comes Barry Davies. And Jones, they need to communicate. Davies took over in the end, then he lost the ball. And knocked forward as well, right in front of the referee.
Yeah, that's a little bit elementary, that error there, because O'Gara's kick drifted a little bit too far. And frankly, Barry Davies should have made that his, and there was a communication problem between himself and Mark James there, and that's a soft bit of territory and possession.
Square and stationary. Hang on, boys.
Mark Jones
wait.
and
No ball, wait.
Barry Davies.
Tracks.
Could have been worse
Pause,
for the Scarlets. As it is, Munster have a scrum. They don't hang around at that scrum because it's starting to move again. Here's O'Gara. Mafi. Can the backs do it this time? It's Kelly. Dowling outside. No, they can't. Defence from the Scarlets look very secure there. O'Callaghan, caught by Easterby. International teammates, of course. Stringer. O'Gara, tight spot. No way out of it.
Scarlets got the answers at the moment to Munster. They're far more pedestrian than the Scarlets when they've got ball in hand. John Kelly, you know, he's going across the park, and Regan King is just coasting with him there. Still feel the variety of O'Gara's tactical kicking game needs to come into this, because the Scarlets seem to have control of the back line at the moment.
It's number 7. It's one of the forwards. It's one of the forwards. We have an 8-man scrum.
Wallace.
Could you be very careful at the breakdown that you're staying on your feet? Understand the message.
Many people's player of the Six Nations.
Your ball.
Sergio Parise. We'll see in action maybe on Sunday. Having his injury problems this weekend.
I'd go for Dennis
lots of
Hickey.
candidates, yeah.
I'd go Dennis Hickey, who of course we'll be seeing tomorrow, but what a fantastic 46 minutes we've got before we start thinking about Saturday and Sunday. Eh?
The point is that Wallace is right up there with the very best.
Oh yes. Certainly the 7 of the tournament, wasn't he?
And if you're picking a Lion side at the moment...
Hang on, that's good.
Pen him in.
Peel's kick. Cullen was never going to get there.
First one, second one.
Just did enough to make it an awkward ball for the Scarlets to take.
I saw what happened. You didn't know what he was doing.
Once again, I think very difficult conditions, but Christian
Stay
Cullen
where you are. Stay where you are.
hasn't played a lot of top-class rugby lately, and didn't look ever as if that was going to be made his in the way that Sean Payne, who is an absolute rock under those situations. And there you can see the knock-on from Popham. Scarlets would have liked that ball to go away there. Really good kick from Dwayne Peel again. And I just think also as the game goes on, Cullen not looking comfortable. Surely Peel and Jones are going to test the former great All Black.
Time back on, please.
Played on this ground back in 1997, you might remember, when the All Blacks won 81-3.
Well, he got 4 tries, didn't he?
4 tries in that game. Life's moved on a little bit since then for all of us, particularly for Christian Cullen.
Stand up, stand up.
He's had so many injury problems.
Don't do anything.
Taken the steam out of his career.
Over the other side.
Trying to do a job for Munster tonight in the absence of Sean Payne.
I think back in '97, Miles, when he was at the height of his powers, he just flowed over the ground. Still, to me, the greatest attacking fullback I've ever seen. But that was then, and this is now. And right now, I think the Scarlets must see the fullback as a potential weakness here.
For 2 reasons. The first one, we're too far apart. Come closer. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Penalty against you.
That's a long blast. It's against the Munster front row. It's against Marcus Horan.
One for Deacon Manu there, and I'm sure Stephen Jones. Well, this is long range for Jones. He isn't the heaviest boot in the Principality.
I don't think he's going to take it. It's going to be Barry Davies.
Ah, yes. With the siege gun boot. But I would say his percentages aren't that great, are they? But I guess they're thinking 7-0, 37th minute, shot to nothing. It goes over 10-0 in the context of this match. It's quite a lead.
You watch Barry Davies in training and you see the most relaxed kicker from distance you could ever hope to see. He can whack them over from, it seems like, a mile out. He's the modern-day Paul Thorburn. This to Barry Davies is not a long way out, but of course it's a match situation. It's going to be close. Off the bar and over. And in the match situation, Davies comes up trumps. A little look there to the sky from Declan Kidney, because he knows that has just given the Scarlets a bit of breathing space.
What a superb kick from Barry Davies there. Straight as you like, he's got about 1 centimetre to spare. He's made it, and 10-0 at the moment is a dream first half scenario for the Scarlets, especially after all the time Munster have attacked in the last 20 minutes. And that's a good take from the kickoff. Don't give anything away soft. Scarlets defended that well.
Well, the Scarlets, who were famously undone when the ball hit the bar in a semi-final match in Nottingham that all Scarlets fans will remember against Leicester. Tim Stimpson, the kicker that day, but Barry Davies uses wood to good effect for the Scarlets tonight, and they get this line out. Tony Spreadbury on the far side, adamant that it's Scarlets' ball. Dowling doesn't agree.
Right, stop. Right, move. Right, I want you over there.
This is now a look at the Davies kick.
How important is that going to be? It's interesting as well. Barry Davies there celebrating a very important 3 points with Gavin Evans there, but
when the whistle goes,
just signs there that Munster are very agitated.
When the whistle goes, you stop playing.
And I wouldn't say Alex Popham is calmness personified.
Okay, same message. When the whistle goes, we stop playing. We move on to the next phase. Okay, time on. Spreaders take the front. What's the pin?
Ian Dowling was furious about Tony Spreadbury's decision to say that he walked into touch.
Hold there, hold there.
Just over a minute until half-time. A switch of play from Peel again.
No move, tackle, move!
Gavin Thomas. Scarlets would be in dreamland if they could score from this play. Munster know they had to try and stop them here. O'Driscoll couldn't make the tackle. Rees carries at pace again. Oh, Rees is going through here! Now the support is required. And they're lining up on the left. If the Scarlets can get quick ball, they've got it now. Regan King. Oh, Popham couldn't ship it on. They were waiting. James was there, Davies was there, and Jones. All speedsters.
That might have been match point, you know, that Popham's put down.
Peel again. Mark Jones again, but now the space isn't there and the cover is. Peel, Easterby. Frantic last few moments of this pulsating first half. Peel again. Jones again. Regan King, handoff. The tackling non-existent at times. First up from Munster. Rees is nearly there. Munster have to make those first tackles. O'Gara doesn't like what he sees from his opposite number, Jones. James, the try scorer, goes for the handoff. Real sense of the ground now that this could be a match-winning score, even at half-time. Gavin Thomas. Gavin Thomas is there, is he? They're claiming it. This is such a big moment.
He better have got this one, because the Scarlets had men over there. Gavin Thomas is certain, but is that the bluff? He's going for the line. It's a desperate tackle. Such an important moment now. Thomas isn't there. He's hit the line. And I think there's enough momentum there. What a moment this could be for the Scarlets. This could make them red-hot favourites for the semis.
Graham Hughes is the television match official who has to decide on this.
Kelly comes in with an absolutely superb tackle. See, I think the pace of his movement is taking him. Momentum's carrying there. And sometimes you see this real speed, you'll see whether he's actually tried to force his way over or whether his body weight has taken him there. Valiant attempt to tackle. He never loses control of the ball, does he? That's not the issue, Miles.
Puts the ball down just short of the line. He's held in the tackle.
I think it's a try. I don't think he ever stops there, does he? I think it's not a double movement.
Graham Hughes is the man that matters. Champions are on the rack here. It is the Scarlets who are playing like champions.
We are going to go into the half-time with a huge lead in the context of this match. Munster have had plenty of territory and possession, but the Scarlets have been sharper. They've taken their chances. They're the team who are razor sharp at the moment. Munster are on the brink, even at half-time. Oof.
Stephen Jones with the kick. It's going over. It's 17-0, and listen to this roar as the Scarlets run down the tunnel, feeling inspired at Stradey Park.
Munster have got themselves out of some holes in the past. If they come out of this one at Stradey, it could be one of their greatest hours to match victory in last year's final against Beer. It's the Scarlets in utter control.
It is 17-0, and in most situations you would say the home side in Europe quarter-final with that lead, having won their pool so convincingly, are all but through. But this is Munster. Don't go away.
Biarritz Northampton is from 12:30 on Sky Sports 3 on Sunday. Leicester Stade Francais from 3:30 on Sky Sports 3. But the Scarlets at the moment at Stradey Park with 1 foot in the semi-finals. They lead 17-0, but you can never write Munster off. They're not champions for nothing. Let's get back to Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Thanks, Simon. Scarlets have a lot to draw upon here. The feel-good factor from their European campaign, and also a fantastic home record here at Stradey in the Magnus League. If they don't lose their next game in the Magnus League, they will equal Munster's all-time record of unbeaten at home. But Munster, there's no doubt that in their dressing room at half-time, they would have all looked at each other in the eye and said, we give absolutely everything now to retain our trophy.
Okay, lovely. Roy. Peter Spudders. Lovely. Captain. Captain. Stay back, lads.
One hell of a mountain for Munster, but they're going to give it a go.
O'Gara starts this second half. And the first penalty goes with the home side.
Come here, please. Number 4, come with me.
And no doubt
Come here.
Peel will not take this one quickly
You are the tackler,
as Jones
and
steps
you will release
forward.
the ball or you will leave.
More
Let
conservative
go.
approach,
Same
but the
message.
Scarlets have looked to play the game at pace on their terms, and it's been very impressive indeed. In fact, they're going to use the big boot of Barry Davies. We saw that with the place kick. Now he's down the touchline. Stuart, you were having a word with Phil Davies at half-time.
Yeah,
He was taking his seat. What did he say?
Just talking to Phil, and I said very briefly what was the message at half-time. And Phil was saying the most important thing from the Scarlets' perspective is not to think we're 17-0. Part 1, job done. Part 2, we've got to do exactly the same again. Keep the pace up, don't slacken off, don't think the job is done.
There is Phil Davies. And he sees his side tap and go there. Peel. Cooper tries to carry, and he sets it back. Peel again. Excellent first half Dwayne Peel had. But then we say that every time, don't we?
Well, he's world-class, no doubt about that.
Pick up from Stephen Jones.
He's played well too.
And shown no signs of that injury. His first game back after a fracture of the wrist. Evans to Rees. And Matthew Rees finds himself out wide, but he's quite happy with that. Comfortable in that situation. But it's Munster who win the breakdown and get important turnover ball here to try and get themselves back into this match. O'Gara fires it into midfield. It's the second rows, it's O'Driscoll, and there's a little bit of a collision there which favours Munster, and the referee awards the scrum to the Llanelli Scarlets.
I can hear Paul Wallace's studio words ringing in the ears there, you know. Munster getting dragged into this game, playing quickly, not using their kicking game again. 17-0 down seems a long way, but they've got to get the points and get back into this game. And aimless floated passes off the left hand just are not going to do that, because if they give the Scarlets good scrummage position, there's no doubt the Llanelli Scarlets will try and finish this game off, and from set-piece possession, their backs are dangerous enough to hurt them.
Listen to the singing as well now as Peel is crunched. And it's tigerish there from Munster at the breakdown. Look at Mafi going through there. Wallace is there as well. And if Munster win another breakdown, it shows their intent. At the start of the second period, they don't, but the Scarlets are having to fight for all their worth there to hang on to that ball. It's King to Jones. This is where the Scarlets have looked so dangerous.
And so comfortable and confident keeping the ball in hand. Credit to them, they're really trying to play this game with variety.
Peel. King again. Here's Evans. Gavin Thomas, that try just before half-time. Popham.
See how often Thomas and Popham are in tandem, doing great work.
MacLeod. Peel. Here's King again. That was the intelligent ball. Rees, has that drifted forward? The referee thinks so. Mark Jones is going to be pulled back. He's got the pace, but he hasn't heard the whistle.
And that was game, set and match. But I think it was a forward pass. But Jones lives and breathes for those opportunities. He is lightning, isn't he?
First reaction was forward. We'll see it again, no doubt. Referee gets one look at it.
Great pass, isn't it, from King again. Now Matthew Rees, that's gone forward, and it is just as well, because John Kelly is exposed completely by Jones's jet heels there. A let-off, because that didn't need to be a forward pass. That should have been a try.
Absolutely. We saw right at the start of the competition at the Madejski Stadium against London Irish the speed of Jones down that flank. Now Kelly is trying to get his own back. Harry Davies, awkward slip there, but he's back on his feet. Needs to release now that he's been held in the tackle, and does.
Hold. Not yet, no.
Peel. Jones. Clockwork again.
And as the minutes tick by, Munster will just get a little bit more frenetic, a little bit tenser.
The reverse of that, though, if Munster can sneak a score here, and the Scarlets, because they are playing Munster, because they are playing the champions, might start to get a few doubts, which don't seem to exist at this stage.
No, I think that's why Phil Davies said keep playing at pace. We mustn't stop, go on the back foot. This isn't football. You can't sit on a 1-0 lead and defend. Against Munster, you have to keep driving. Try and drive that stake in.
Peel looking for Mark Jones again, and he's found him, not quite where he wanted to find him, but it's still with the Scarlets. And Gavin Thomas has a drive.
Now the mix, they're taking it on around the fringes, and they're doing it well.
Matthew Rees had a go. Peel. Good footwork from Peel. Always looks like he's going to get away. Since he doesn't always, but it's the thought of the threat which sucks in the tacklers from the opposition and provides space for the others.
Exactly, it's a joy for an outside half when you've got a scrum half as quick-footed as Dwayne Peel, because it gives the likes of Stephen Jones an extra bit of space. And at the moment, well, do they have the faith?
Make sure we let him by.
And is faith enough? Because right now it's reality and pragmatism of Scarlets in control.
Too far away, nobody gets hurt. Come closer.
Talk about history and the history of Munster in this competition.
Touch.
And how the Scarlets have fallen at that semi-final hurdle. Munster have now gone all the way, but in terms of the history between these two, they've never met in the Heineken Cup. And in the Magnus League, Munster have just one victory on this ground.
Touch. Pause. Engage. Okay,
But of course, Munster would have come here thinking we're a different Heineken Cup animal. But Scarlets have just dispelled those thoughts, and psychologically, you know, in the first 46 minutes, they've done a wonderful job just saying to Munster, hey, we don't care that you're champions, this is our day, and maybe this is our season. But they have to keep playing. They cannot sit back, because if they do, if they offer it to Munster, Munster will take chunks out of this game.
Penalty, number 3.
Penalty for the champions. Just over half an hour left to sort this out. Amazing to think that Munster haven't even scored a point tonight.
No, I mean, as Will said in the studio, Ronan O'Gara mixed 2 pretty kickable chances, spurned a third one, 17-9, they're bang in this game. But having said that, you know, Stephen Jones missed a very eminent kick too, so an eminently kickable one even. So, you know, what are you talking about? 20 points to 9. There's no doubt the Scarlets deserve a pretty healthy lead at the moment.
Red flags all around the ground, some of them from Munster. But it's the home voices that we can really hear. And a big cheer now as that ball goes forward. And it's those little errors that, unlike Munster, that they made in this match, that they made in the match against Leicester at the end of the pool.
And because these passes, these line-outs aren't sticking, they can't build momentum, they can't get the drive going, and they're finding it very hard to really get a foothold in this game at all.
Square and stationary, gentlemen. Square and stationary. Square and stationary.
Scarlets just look so calm, don't they? Peel there and Popham. Exactly what they want to do from here. It's a solid set piece. Out to Jones. And another big cheer goes up as that one crosses the touchline. It's one of those nights now where everything positive for the home side, whatever it is, tackle, kick, pass even, will be cheered.
That was really well done though, wasn't it? Yet again, a good solid scrum in a dangerous position. Well orchestrated between Popham and Peel, and Jones just completes the job with a searching 45-metre clearance. Just driving Munster deep, because Munster don't look as if they can score from long range.
Flannery to O'Driscoll again, string it into O'Gara quickly. And there goes Mafi. Halstead is there. Well, that's a Scarlet wall.
Popham again.
Turned over. MacLeod.
Don't touch it, thank you, number 10.
Peel. Jones and King, that's lovely. Mark Jones now. Oh, was he taken late there? He chipped ahead, it still might be scored. No, it won't, because King cannot win the race. The referee's going to have a word with his touch judges, holding out a flag. Well, Simbin will come right into this as well.
Must be.
It's deemed to be a professional foul.
From my point of view, right, I thought that he ran into him there. That was my opinion. Have you got a much different view to that?
I saw the blue player turn with his shoulder into...
Was that protect himself? I saw it to protect himself. I'm quite happy with what you're saying, but I believe that he just turned there. He couldn't get out of the way. I don't think that there was less. So I am making the decision.
Make the decision.
I will make the decision.
This is not going to be popular.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm quite happy with Peter. He's told me what he's seen. I've seen what I've seen. I don't believe that was the penalty. So I'll be a 22. Thank you.
Little pat on the back there for Chris White from Munster, who overrules his touch judge, because of course he has the authority to do. It is the referee's decision that is final. He can take advice. That's all it is.
That's a mighty call, isn't it? Regan King's hands as well, just to release the speedster Mark Jones there. 3-on-2 in short space, done really well. But again, all the dangers still coming from the men in red.
Davies James.
Hands away, Munster!
That's twice now in this half that Mark Jones has almost scored. And the alarm bells have turned to constant sirens now for Munster. Out wide as well as through the centre. Rees. Peel. Stephen Jones. Nico Driscoll makes the tackle, tries to wrap up the man, tries to make a situation there where the ball can be ripped by one of his colleagues, but Scarlets are working hard on the floor for it and retain possession. Manu. And a good drive from Manu. Makes the meters. James. Hayes is trying to get across. Scrags him. Ball is alive though. Popham kept it alive. Off his feet, says the referee. Not a knock on. Stephen Jones to Evans. Evans darting once, twice. The youngster twinkling there. That was a superb run. Peel going for broke now, the Scarlets. Peel, referee weighs it on again. Easterby. Wallace is warned to move away. Peel throws it long. Barry Davies. Is that it? No, just short. Davies almost through, and look at that from Munster on the floor. Stringer gets it away, but not as far as touch, but it was advantage to Munster. Davies a metre away from almost sealing the deal there.
And I just wonder, earlier we said Chris White was saying that the Munster man didn't take him out. The arrow is the line Jones is taking. Just watch what happens with the Munster cover man here. He does not stand his ground. He comes across and checks him. Jones is taken out. There's even a left foot up in the air there. That was a penalty. And I think the Scarlets are very upset because Barry Davies lost it. A lot of their fans think the ball is played illegally on the floor, but Cullen has just raised the left shoulder into him. That's clearly a penalty. Clearly a penalty.
And that's sin bin.
I think so, Miles, yeah, because I suspect Mark Jones was on for scoring that with his pace. They are almost, I know it's crazy with 30 minutes to go, but that is 3 attacks where they have been so close. A forward pass away, a shoulder charge, and inches almost there. One more score, and I think Munster are gone.
Perhaps some of the fans think it already as well. But those fans, not quite there yet.
Yeah, well, the miracle men of Munster have pulled too many rabbits out of the hat in the last few years. The Scarlets will not relax, not yet. But at the moment, it's Suspen Vark, not Fields of Athenry.
Big shove again, but Munster come away with it. That was Leamy against Popham. And it's a Munster penalty.
He's having it, good move. Thank you.
Popham just losing his discipline there.
Fucking every time. Speaking to him, not him, not him, sorry.
Come here.
Speaking to him. Sorry, we're speaking to him, not you, obviously.
Whoever you're speaking to, you don't use that language. You are the captain.
Chris White makes the apology for us all there. These things, I suppose, will happen when we use the referee's microphone, which is such an aid these days to the coverage, but sorry for that.
So, one hand was off the cliff face, but still Munster are in.
Davies. Taps the ball back. But it's Munster onto it. And O'Gara deep. Kicks it deep. That's what Munster need to do. Establish that kind of position.
Well, it relieves the pressure, but unfortunately now...
Oh, Easterby's going quick to Popham. Thomas and the back row there between themselves somehow managed to get the ball away. Evans kicks. Here comes Cullen.
Popham's down. I think he might have saved his teammates.
So the Scarlets a man down here, and he's going to pass Popham. No, he's back on his feet bravely. Halstead to Quinlan. He's hurting. Popham on the far side. He's trying to act as the extra defender, but holding those ribs. Munster know a score here, having survived that triple scare, will give them such a boost and start to build those doubts in the Scarlet minds, which they really need to do now, Munster. O'Callaghan
He can't move any quicker.
Nothing coming back from there. Time now to look at Popham, I think, because he really is struggling out there.
Looks like he took one in the rib cartilage there. I must say that was a crazy quick line, and I don't know what the Scarlets were doing there. It took an incredible feat of athleticism now from Popham to save his teammates. Here's him smashing into Dennis Leamy, and as always, winning the contact there.
But he didn't roll away, and that's why the penalty was awarded in that instance. He seems to have made a pretty good recovery, though.
He's made a stern stop. Said on the rugby club how much he was looking forward to this. Watch this now. This is a crazy line out. Halstead's waited. He somehow just taps it away, and Halstead just dinks him completely legitimately. But the Scarlets get away with it. That's the first time, really, where their adventurous policy was actually ill-advised. That was a get out of jail there. Popham reached and saved.
It was as if the Scarlets were desperate not to allow Munster any kind of field position, to set up camp in that 22.
Well, you can see they've done it brilliantly. Munster only 2 visits in the game. From those points so far, they need something soon.
Great control of that Munster scrum again.
See, Leamy's not going anywhere, is he? That time it was Easterby.
Horrible ball for Stringer, that's better. O'Gara, that's a lovely ball, nearly to Cullen, nearly for King. Oh, that was 50-50.
That's what Ronan O'Gara can do superbly. He weighted the man, he pulled the Scarlets flat onto the gain line. It's a high-risk pass, but when you're 17-0 down, you know, they have to go for the scores now every time they get the ball within 30 metres. And O'Gara knows that. Reagan King is close, but if he doesn't get that, Christian Cullen is under the post. It's a risk, but it's a risk Munster have to take.
Like the pre-match predictions, that could have gone either way. At the moment, the game is only going one way. Stringer caught, flip back from O'Gara. Flannery, oh, that's good strength. Scarlets worried about the blind side there, and for a moment, had it been football, Munster might have had the extra man. It's going that way, but I think the cover has been provided. Yes, it has. Cullen is caught. Stringer. O'Gara. Little flip into midfield. Wallace is there, but again stopped on the gain line. O'Gara. Here comes Mafi.
Collapsing them all, no advantage. Back we go.
The referee's back for the penalty.
Spreaders, okay.
Now it's a big decision for Ronan O'Gara. 17-0, 23 minutes to go. I think he's got to get some points here.
Oh, it's just basic, lads. I mean, people are getting a little bit excited whilst they're playing. There's some great rugby going on. Just come down a step. You look after your players. Yeah. Let's go. Okay, thank you.
Calm down.
Have a chat. Collapsing them all. Number, it's Popham.
Number, it's Popham. Yep. Know what you mean, Chris. It's one of those nights.
Sorry.
But he does stay calm, doesn't he, Chris White, amidst all happening around him. And that's what you need.
I tell you what, Ronan O'Gara, Chris White has said post Ronan, and he's taken his time. So often in these situations, when a team, when an individual spends a long time thinking about it, you get caught between the devil and the deep blue and it goes wrong. Now, that was a 3-pointer there that was easy for O'Gara. 17-3, 2 converted scores. They haven't got it. I would say now, if they don't come away from this line out with 5 points, it's over. As a Munster. It's that important.
So that's one kick in each half that O'Gara has turned down. That one definitely the easier of the two, but both kickable. O'Driscoll catches.
They come, let come.
Quinlan, Wallace, all the pack now, driving.
There it comes, you got it. Stay there, number 8. No.
It's getting closer. Hayes helping out Quinlan off the floor. Stringer, O'Gara, and lost by Halstead.
Tackle before the ball, number 12.
Tackle before the ball, though, says the referee.
Just got there before the ball. He's running into it. He's running.
Marcus Horan's going to go.
Horan with the tap. Referee calls him back. Whistle's gone. And like Jones beforehand, Horan will be denied his moment of glory.
Well, surely now, having not gone for the 3 points, O'Gara's probably going to take a scrum here. Because if 2 minutes ago 3 points weren't enough, they're certainly not now.
Is he coming up? No. He's going to have to go.
The Scarlets now are erecting a red wall of defence, but don't bet against Munster just going headfirst into it in an attempt to batter it down. We have seen them defy logic before. They are a long way from survival in this year's Heineken Cup.
He's coming off, please. Make the decision, please. Which way is he going?
He doesn't want to go.
Let's take it that way, please.
Vernon Cooper might have to go.
I think we're having a change, Roy. Bring him on, please.
Afiaki is the natural replacement, and he's stripping off now for Vernon Cooper.
Bring him on.
Adam Jones didn't even get into the final 22. It shows the strength and depth in this department.
1851.
Afiaki himself, more than useful player. Tongan international. Captained his country 15 times.
And O'Gara has decided to take the 3 points. And he better hurry up. Time is not on his team's side.
Well, this one, of course, is very kickable and will go over. It is 3 points, but so is the last one. Munster are on the board, though, with a quarter of the match to go. A quarter of the match to save their title.
Well, one converted try, and it's a long last quarter for the Scarlets, who have been clearly the better team for a large part. But in the second half, they haven't taken the chances as they did in the first half. So Munster are just about still in there. And as it's Munster, you can't write them off.
The Scarlets have produced the most beguiling performance in this season's competition. An amazing day in Toulouse. How can they follow that kind of display? They're knocking the champions out of the competition. They're losing their discipline. They're giving penalties away. Peter Stringer likes that. O'Gara too.
Gives O'Gara a chance to try and drive the Scarlets deep into their own 22. Penalty count, as you say, is not helping them. But Ronan O'Gara, who's had a bad game, has got lucky.
This bounce was awkward for James. It works for O'Gara, it works for Munster, and the fans down in front of what will be a line out now leap out of their seats, the Munster fans, delighted with this bounce of the ball. It's a great result for O'Gara, that one.
Well, it's a bad kick, and he's got 20 extra metres. He's been nervous kicking for goal. He hasn't really directed the game, and suddenly Munster get one lucky break. And look at this penalty count, second half. It's getting Munster back in with some sort of chance.
Try and conversion here, and they are breathing down the necks.
Oh, then they'd go through the gears, believe me.
Out comes Afiaki, dumping Leamy on the floor. Both players rejoin, and the action really is. Through comes Afiaki again. He's warned by the referee. He's going to wear another penalty. Oh, and there's more.
Sorry, I just got on. I know, and you're just going off as well now. I'm afraid you've committed the offence. Off you go.
The reply from Chris White.
I told you.
Tells Inoki Afiaki where to go. To the sin bin for 10 minutes.
Well, he's been booked for serial offending by the Scarlets at the moment. And just the signs now of nervousness. They can see the winning line, and they're getting tentative. And O'Gara this time is not going for 3. One extra man in the line out. They will look to smash that red wall down. It'll be O'Callaghan and co. surging for the line.
Munster mixing up their decisions, trying to make the right ones. Trying to get across that line. Referee blows the whistle. So it'll be a scrum, not a penalty.
Hugely ironic cheers from the Scarlets fans who feel they're on the wrong end of the referee's whistle. What a time for an accidental offside, because Munster certainly had some momentum and they were driving towards the line. Eagle-eyed Chris White spotted it, and now the Scarlets have got a scrum for their lives, 7 against 8. And Munster now, you know, are scrummaging. Well, they're doing everything now for their rugby lives.
Well, the Scarlet grievance is, of course, that Cullen could have gone, perhaps should have gone to the sin bin. The referee listened to his touch judge. Oh, now Munster have recovered at the scrum, and how? But no, says the referee. That's one for David Flatman.
Number 9 ran all the way around offside first of all.
Peter Stringer, all that experience, got carried away. He went round offside when his forwards had done an absolutely superb job, 8 against 7. Right now, you know, it's not 15 against 14, it's 16 against 14, because adrenaline is coming to the game for Munster with a quarter of an hour to go.
Davies puts it over the stand. He wasn't going to risk not finding his touch there. A little smile, maybe a smile of nerves.
Take the front, please, spreaders.
Although, to be fair, the Scarlets haven't looked like a nervous side tonight, have they, at all? Taken the game to the opposition. Except, yeah, I know what's coming.
That sense of celebration around Stradey Park has gone now. There's tension.
Number 4, leave it.
Yes, there's 65 minutes, and there's 15 still to play.
Number 3.
And these could be the most tense 15 minutes of the match. Certainly if Munster have their way.
Away,
Munster! 7 against 8. This is the Scarlets saying, forget it, boys. One man down. This is most impressive.
At the start of the season, they said that the Scarlets would not be able to challenge in Europe. They wouldn't have the pack. Well, I think the pack have had the last laugh there. Evans out wide. Oh, it's been dropped again from the wide ball. Lost by King. Mafi goes back. Advantage here for Munster. It's broken up, and Mafi might enjoy that. Looks to charge away. Advantage over now, surely. This is Halstead. O'Gara. Now it's been knocked on by Munster, so Scarlets have an advantage, and it's Popham. Peel.
Great kick. They stood up for him. Look at Horan, prop forward.
Like a winger. Good tackle by young Evans.
I just can't see Munster winning this harem-scarum type of game.
Mafi. He might bust through here. Quinlan, on it goes. Might be a try here for Munster with Cullen. He's got Dowling outside. Must use him. Dowling for the corner. Munster, the champions, are still alive. Munster doing what champions do.
Stradey's done. Mafi does absolutely brilliant. There was a sense of forward passes there. That's certainly what the boos are about. But Cullen doesn't have the pace, but he drew his man, and Dowling is in at the corner. Chris White wants to check he gets it down, does he? It looked clear.
It's gone to Graham Hughes again. What were we saying about nerves?
Well, I'll tell you what, this pass is a long way forward from Chris Cullen, but Graham Hughes can't do anything about that. What he can do is say, does Ian Dowling ground this? Barry Davies goes for the corner. Does he get to the line? There's no doubt at all. That is a finish, but it looked to me from our position, Cullen was a long way forward with the pass. Look at this. Metre outside the 20, inside the 22. Look where Dowling takes this. That is 5 metres forward. That's 5 metres.
The Scarlets coaching staff sitting in front of us all left their seats and thought that was a forward pass. Yes. It was a forward pass.
It's 5
You can
metres
confirm
forward.
it's a
The
try.
television match
Thank you.
official cannot judge on the pass. He has to judge only on the act of scoring, which from Dowling was clean. The pass wasn't.
Oh, no, that's just us in our eagle-eyed position. And there's no doubt, you know, Graham Hughes is right. Chris White is right to award the try, but I'm afraid he has made a howling mistake here. And if Munster get back into this game, that will be the most infamous forward pass for years. That was a long way forward.
O'Gara's kick, and these points really matter. And he hasn't got them, so there is still that breathing space for the Scarlets that keep them away from the possibility maybe of extra time. The 7-point gap. They've got more than that.
Hey, that's really good play from Mafi. Some superb offloading. Now, Cullen of old would have gone in himself. Watch where he is when he gives the ball. And look where that ball is when he receives it. Forget all the claptrap about all the physics about momentum. That's pure forward. That's a long way.
But the harum-scarum rugby that you were talking about did suit Munster in the end.
Now, this is a test now of the Scarlets, because they've got to keep playing. Munster now will step up the ante. The misconversion is vital, but at least from their perspective, it gives them a bit of belief, which they seem to have lacked.
So much is happening in this match, it's hard to get your head around it. Big calls by the officials. Moments that, if they go one way, if one side wins, then it could really hurt for the other. They will point at various instances.
And there you can see Munster had to get something. A lot of time in the visitors' 22 in the second half, waiting to get those points. They've got 8. And the Scarlets, in fact, have just had the one visit. But from their perspective, they've been trying to strike from long range, and they've been a little bit unlucky and a little bit lax themselves. But how frustrated will they be? Matthew Rees's forward pass was maybe a metre forward, clearly forward. Chris Cullen's was about 4.
You all right? Are you sure? Is that the same injury, is it? Is he all right?
No. It's just that kick on the hip toe. You all right?
That's probably the best thing to do. Have a sip of beer. If in doubt, have a sip.
Helen, there's you and me with water here in the commentary, and we're feeling the tension.
Coming over there. Straight.
All of this happening, of course, with the Scarlet replacement, Inoki Afiaki in the sin bin. And Munster come right back at the scrum. They get the penalty. What a reply, what a response from the Munster pack.
They have not played well, but they have not given in, and that's why Munster are such a legend of Heineken Cup rugby. They are coming for this game with everything they've got. They have not played well, but this is grit, this is determination.
O'Gara puts the ball out to what for the moment is not the safety of touch for the Scarlets.
Not at all, no. You know, in a sense Munster needed a bit of luck. They've got it this half. Now they've got their luck. They will feel they can go, and they'll feel with 10 minutes they could still do it.
Great contest at the line out, still bobbling around, retrieved by Munster.
Breaks are suddenly going their way, and they didn't for a half.
Stringer, O'Gara. Knocked forward by Halstead. Still not quite happening in that midfield for Munster, although, of course, with the breakaway inspired by Mafi, it did.
Yeah.
More often than not, it's broken down.
Not been well oiled, has it, the centre? I mean, Ronan O'Gara just hasn't had the runners picking the angles. Hasn't quite worked.
Bind up and keep it up.
Dowling down at the moment, the try scorer. Hard to believe it's 17-8.
High time we went down to the front line. Dave Flackman, lots for you to look at, Dave.
There's lots, and how the scrummaging worm has turned. And what loss Inoki Afiaki. Deacon Manu here at tight head for Scarlets. His shape is gone before the scrum even starts. Munster have destroyed the Scarlet scrum. And again here, it wasn't just a one-off. Deacon Manu in all sorts of trouble with Daffy James. He's a good try scorer, but he's not a scrummager. Please give me back my second row, Mr. White.
Fascinating stuff there, Dave, but I don't think that's technical. I think that is fire in the belly. That is sheer desperation, sheer fear of defeat that's driving them.
And also extra man.
An extra man. There are times we've seen Munster, you think one less, they'd still do it. They will not give up.
Scramble possession for Popham at the base. Didn't used to be like that for Popham in this match. It is now. Flannery can see it coming back, but that's a little bit of kidology. It is with the Scarlets, it is with Barry Davies, and that is going into the town centre. What a kick.
Oh, that's lifted this crowd, because the fingernails now are being shredded, and Barry Davies has fired a fantastic 60-metre kick, in some ways almost as important as that wonderful penalty kick. Scarlets had to get away because Munster have been steadily turning the tide, and that just drives them back, and it just gives a bit of breathing space as we go into the last 10.
Approaching the end of his sin bin, Afiaki. Now from Quinlan to O'Callaghan. Munster, you can see it in the eyes, see what it means. O'Callaghan's run there, but that's rare loose ball from O'Gara. And Regan King is through. And he's not alone. Scarlet jerseys are plenty there on the scene.
Strong from Kelly, wasn't it?
O'Gara looking to go from deep. In comes Popham! Oh my goodness! Everybody in the ground felt that.
Seismic stuff.
Stringer, but it's still Munster ball. Their strength is their strength. Stringer again. O'Gara, Flannery, tight, but Horan, Flannery, they are very good at playing in those tight spots. Stringer, O'Gara. Justin Thomas makes a tackle. Two teams now just slugging this one out. O'Gara over the top, little chip, can't take, knocked it on, advantage. Mark Jones if he wriggles away, Barry Davies too. They're movers. Stephen Jones.
And still they play.
Matthew Rees, he can move too. Davies James tries to get there with him. Stephen Jones again, Dwayne Peel. Back on the attack, the Scarlets, Davies, knowing that one score will probably do it. King to Jones, Mark Jones, nearly through the gap. That's a lovely ball. MacLeod, on it goes, Barry Davies! The Scarlets are surely now going to a semi-final. Is it destined to be their year? What a night this has been.
There was a moment in that wonderful try when Stephen Jones picked up a ball running backwards. 99 fly halves in this country would have just kicked and taken the percentage. But the Scarlets, they played. Rees carried it, Jones picked it up again, and then with King and MacLeod and Jones and Davies, they completed it. But the options to kick the ball away was the easy one. They didn't go for it with a man down. Regan King, superb. Mark Jones, look at this unload. How about this from MacLeod? And then Barry Davies, who has had such an influential day, seals the deal for the Scarlets. And their adventure, their sheer bravura deserves it. The inside ball, the pace, the offload, that's what Munster haven't quite been able to handle. That's a brilliant try, and you will go to bed tonight thinking about Scott MacLeod's offload.
Alex Popham is going off, that is what the cheer is for. Davies Jones is about to come on, and Afiaki is about to come out of the sin bin. Popham still feeling that rib, but the joy of victory is a great painkiller. Stephen Jones with the 2 points, and the Scarlets' ability to strike from anywhere has been one of the joys of this year's competition. And for them now, it is surely winning joy in this epic quarter-final.
Unbelievable, what a comeback from the Scarlets. That man down. Munster seemed to have turned the tides in terms of territory and pressure, but then the counter punch, the sucker punch, and the legs of Munster are gone.
Evans. say the legs of Munster have gone, but John Hayes there has a ferocious effort to try and win the ball. They won't give it up, and they're given an opportunity to at least attack as Jones puts that out on the full.
Subject to Jones, you can see him circled. The easy thing to do is to kick there, well maybe not, maybe to kick there, because there's Munster men everywhere, but he doesn't. I don't know any fly half would have said, let's stay there. He trusts Rees. Amazing, and it's from that the score came. Brave play.
Thomas O'Leary is also on for Munster, just confirming the Scarlets change there. This is Stringer. O'Driscoll. There you are, O'Leary for Dowling. Stringer, O'Gara, and Cullen came off King. It'll fall for Wallace. Wallace powers on. Munster, who won the crown in Wales. Stringer in Cardiff last season. Are they about to lose the crown in Wales in Llanelli tonight? Peel kicks long. O'Leary, the replacement, has to go back. Davies James has got there very quickly. We shouldn't really be surprised, but O'Leary's done well. Trying to go on the outside of King. He's going to get a penalty too, because clearly the Scarlets didn't stay on their feet. Stringer. Quinlan. Stringer again, Wallace. As we expected, Munster refusing to accept defeat, which is now surely inevitable.
Stay low, leave him alone.
Quinlan again.
Release, Lefty, release.
Cullen inside, another drop ball from Mafi. Sums it all up, really.
For Munster, the wake is about to begin, but what a place for it to begin, because Stradey Park now is one giant Westphalian party. It's land of my fathers, and the Scarlets from the first minute have been the better team today. They played with intensity, intelligence, and no little imagination. And I'd say my Heineken Cup man of the match is a man who from the first minute faced the Munster back row down. He matched them at every collision. His offloading was excellent. Alex Popham, he's off the field now, but he has been enormous for the Scarlets today. In a memorable day for Llanelli Scarlets, he is my Heineken man of the match.
What a tournament in general Popham has had.
Indeed.
And it's still got a way to go. Semi-final looms. That match will be played either in Leicester at the Walker Stadium or at the Stade de France, Paris. Leicester and Stade Francais drawn to meet the winner of this tie, and those two teams meet, of course, on Sunday in Leicester at Welford Road. One of the fantastic quarterfinals on offer this weekend. Wasp Leinster tomorrow, and of course on Sunday lunchtime it's Biarritz against Northampton. But here tonight, the champions are going out, and they're going out to a brave, energetic, inventive, confident, superb side.
Time off. Munster 5, please. Munster 5, thank you very much.
You know, I just said Popham really got the better of the back row. We talked about the half-backs as well, and Stringer and O'Gara, such fine players for Munster. Today, I think Stephen Jones has come back and controlled this with great calm and a phlegmatic approach. And inside him, his mate Dwayne Peel has been an intelligent live wire at 9 and 10. They've had the advantage of the front foot, but they have dominated.
Listen to this, Stuart. It's John Davies who's coming on for the Scarlets. Right on for O'Driscoll for Munster. John Davies, 99th game for the Scarlets since they went regional. Popular figure here. A big cheer also for Manu, who leaves the field. Munster keep on coming, keep on refusing. Look at Mafi travelling onto O'Leary. Defiance all the way from Munster. Mafi picks up, brilliant pickup. But Scarlets just have the numbers there to stop that attack. But Munster think they've scored through the middle.
Magical rugby. That was magical rugby from Munster. That's what they wanted to do. The bust up, of Halstead. Maybe the Scarlets are tired, missing a tackle, but that was brilliant.
And they're charging back to halfway. It is a try. It's a bit difficult to see who got it. I think it might have been the replacement.
It's a try, thank you.
Ryan, but
try. Thank you, Graham.
He led the charge back to halfway. There's no celebration from him.
It's back on, please.
It's no coincidence. Munster's 2 tries have come from Mafi offloading and Halstead busting. The Scarlets are tiring. They're making the gaps now, which they haven't made for too many minutes. It's too little and too late, but boy, they have kept going.
O'Gara kicks. And now he gets his 2 points, which really he needed before, but there's still too much to do for Munster in the time. Just over a minute to go. Surely the Scarlets will close it out from here, but what a brave and defiant try this was.
Well, that's all about what Munster wanted to do. It was the power of Halstead, and then suddenly Mafi was so strong on the outside.
Come on, let's play, please.
And then the forwards just do the work and drive over there. We think it's Ryan, we can't be certain. But the Scarlets have missed 2 tackles and they've been hit for 2 tries.
Just over 30 seconds left, O'Gara.
Can't see that, can't see that.
Never doubted the Munster spirit. And that is still there for all to see. But we also never doubted the ability of this Scarlet side. And that has won the day. John Davies tries to make a tackle. Another one of those accidental collisions. And it will all end here. The Scarlets are through to their 3rd Heineken Cup semi-final.
No one would say they haven't deserved it. Munster have been brave, but the better team have won this. Phil Davies, Phil Moriarty, Robert Jones, they have galvanised this rugby community. They are serious contenders. Leicester or Stad will better take note.
You know what would be typical of the Scarlets here, Stuart, if they don't kick the ball off the field and they try and score another try. They do have a sufficient cushion. The time has now elapsed. I mean, the sensible thing would be to start the party.
I think they've done enough for their fans, don't you?
No, they're going for it. They are going for it.
Sums them up, you're right.
No, the call has come. Get the ball off, let's party. That's what they will do. And this has been no run-of-the-mill way of getting to the semi-final stage. First, glittering displays in their pool, and now the Scarlets have beaten the champions. Munster's reign is over on a night that Stradey will never forget.
Well, Munster have carried the title of European champions with great pride, but tonight they met a better team. They came to a venue that they would know. This place smells of rugby tradition. There was a hostile crowd waiting them for West Wales. Munster brought their fans, they brought their self-belief, but they didn't quite bring the ability to match a Scarlets team who, as I was saying, Miles, the way they played in the pool stages, the self-belief they brought to the quarterfinals tonight, will be serious contenders for this crown. On Sunday, we will watch Leicester play Stad. The winners of that game are going to have a hell of a scrap, stopping the Scarlets going all the way to Twickenham. This was a fine performance.
Year after year, season after season, this competition produces matches for the memory bank, matches to savour, and that certainly fits the bill.